So hit play. We good, Grace and Will?
Yellow Star.
Okay, so you were talking about the yellow star.
Yeah, yes. Okay. And you have to remember, at that time, we didn't have television or even radio. It was just very... Only the rich people had the big radios, the big boxes, and the news was primarily through the newspaper in the morning newspaper. And I remember very well, my mom came to my room and she said, "Oh, you know, there was the Crystal Night, and all the Nazi or member of the Nazi parties, they smashed the windows and did a lot of damage at the Jewish companies and banks and stuff like that." And right after that, the Jewish people, they put the Jewish people into concentration camp, which was outside Munich in a suburban area. It always has been a prison for, if somebody shot somebody, murder or thieves, and also political prisoners who were, before Hitler came on power, there was the Communist Party in Germany, the Socialist parties, and then the Hitler, the Nazi Party. And and after Hitler came to power, if somebody spoke against him or criticized him, then he got sent to Dachau. That's all what we knew at that time. And we also knew that he kept Jewish people in there all the time during the war until the Americans came to Munich. But we average Germans didn't know what was going on inside the prison camp, because whoever worked there, were not allowed to say anything that they knew what was going on in there. And so we really didn't know what went on in there, all the cruelties and the gas chambers, until the Americans came into Munich and occupied and opened all the prison camps, and then we saw what the Nazis did and what went on. And that was shortly after that the Jews had to go to the concentration camp, shortly after Hitler came to power. But Hitler also did many good things. He built the Autobahn, the Volkswagen, and he promised every German should be able to have a radio, because he was very smart. He knew that the radio, he could make propaganda, and the people could hear him, what he said, and so on. And until the war came. And coming back to your question, I was only 9 years old at that time, but I remember that a lot of people said already, well, if Hitler gets some power and he will have, he is already like a dictator, things will, it's maybe not so good for the German people. But I think that answered maybe his question he had.
Yeah, and I think it tied into Angela's question too. Angela, you want to ask yours next?
What changes were happening in Germany prior to the war?
You mean World War II?
Yeah.
Well, the economy was very good, and Hitler rebuilt the army again, and the German army, and he talked about that Germany need more room to expand and to live on it. And he did a lot of, like the school system, he was very smart. He knew that if he gets to the younger generation, they will be more Bible, we think more about him and agree more of his politics. And he gave a lot of money to the schools and hired a lot of younger teachers, because before, when I was starting first, second, third grade, the woman teachers couldn't be married. If they got married, then they had to quit teaching. The male teachers, they could be married and could have a family and kept their job in the school. So anyway, when Hitler came to power, he also, the teachers women teachers could get married, and he hired a lot of younger teachers, because our teachers were all older, almost ready for retirement.
Did you get new books and things?
Sorry?
Like books? Like, did you have new?
And he changed the reading books and math books and primarily the history books too, by the way. And then he built a lot of new schools and a lot of new buildings for the post offices. They were all cramped before, smaller post offices. So every section from towns got a new post office. And with that, it was like a domino effect, because they got, first the construction went on again, and then they had more money, they could spend more on clothes or shoes or whatever. And the economy was very, very good. And he came to power in the first couple of years. And then he built up the military, because Germany at that time lost the First World War, and we didn't have any strong military anymore, just a couple thousand. But he said, he built up the military, built tanks again. They were building big factories, so the economy got better and better. And people said, he is a little bit, wants to be too big headed. Well, then in 1939, I think it was, when he started the war. First he went into Poland, he just marched in the territory west of the Rhine, which was occupied by the French. And then the war and then he started the war to England. When he started the Blitz, you maybe heard about it. That he bombed, our bombers went to England, and they really bombed the hell out of London. And then he declared the war to Russia on the Eastern Front. The military went to Russia. And we knew already it's too much. We had 4 fronts, in the north and the south in Africa, and the rest to France. And the British started naturally to bomb Germany.
And it just was like a cycle.
Yeah.
I think that ties into Elijah's question. Elijah, what was your question? Or I'm sorry, Alex. It was Alex's question.
What was your life like in Germany during the Third Reich?
What was this?
Say it again.
What was your life like in Germany during the rule of the Third Reich?
Oh, during the war? Well, during the war, we had all ration tickets. And we got tickets for shoes and clothes, and it wasn't a free market anymore. You couldn't go to the grocery store and buy coffee or sugar or meat. We had about 500 grams of meat a person per month. That's about a pound of meat for a person. So naturally, we all, people got hungry, we couldn't get too much food and everything was on
Everything was
raising
limited.
tickets.
I think that go, Drew, what's your question? Yours can go through the back.
At what point were Nazis' laws the strictest?
What?
At what point were Nazis' laws the strictest?
The laws from the Nazis, well, they kept a pretty good hold on what everybody did. Like for instance, if you wanted to go a trip to Italy or Austria or France, you had to go to the police station, to your local police station, and told them, well, we are going for 2 weeks on a trip. We are not there. So they were keeping a big eye on everybody, what they were doing. That's just one thing I could remember. And there were a lot of laws. At that time, we didn't have too many cars. In 1934, 35, 46, average people couldn't afford a car. And we had to go on buses and streetcars, but the law was very strict, for drivers. They couldn't, what you have here too, a speed limit or something, but it was very strongly enforced. That's what I remember.
All right, Adam,